Hello, welcome back to RC Workshop. Guys, today we are going to be checking out the diffs on the TRAXXAS MAXX truck. I do look after my diffs and I do change the oil in there regularly. But what I did do last, took it to a big sandy track. Went through sand, went through wet puddles as well and mud. It's cleaned down, so what I'm going to do is rip open these diff caps and I'll show you what you got to do to access the diffs and what you should do just to clean them, and you're going to see what I'm going to see. I have let this car dry out, so this has been about a week since it's been out, so God knows what they look like. Let's check it out. For the job then, guys, you're going to need some paper towels, an old toothbrush, used obviously, GT85 lubricant spray, and some lithium moly grease. This is high velocity grease that I use on all the bearings and a little bit on them diff teeth. Right, let's lift open that first cap. So what you're first going to want to do is take this base plate off with a 2.5mm hex. I'm going to cheat and get the drill on the go as well. I'll undo all these 8 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Show you what's next after that. So with those 8 screws loose, all you're going to find underneath that skid plate is a drive shaft, and you're going to see nothing else. Next thing you're going to do is loosen the 4 screws on the rear skid, like so. Take these ones out because you're going to have to turn the car upside down, or the right way around, should I say. And then just down there, inside, you've got another 2 screws going through the bumper into the skid plate. You need to undo those 2, 1 and 2. This should enable your skid plate just to drop off. Go on, drill. So with those 2 undone, we'll flip the car back over. And your skid plate should just drop off like so. Just watch for them 2 screws that are going to drop back out the bottom. Next thing you're going to want to do is undo all the screws in the supporting case as well, and also one on the back there. Also guys, check this out. We've got an RC dog. Oh yeah! And he likes RC cars, don't you, mate? His name's Charlie and he's going to feature in some videos soon, are ya? Yeah. Right, let's undo them screws. Right, so when you take this rear screw out, just the one, there's a plastic cover and an aluminium bar. Pull that off like so. And then your arms are going to drop free from that casing. That's fine. And then you've also got as well these 2 side screws to take out. And then when you can access now, these 2 for these 2 this side and these 2 on the other side. Take those out and that diff casing is going to release. Let's have a look what's under there. Sorry, also I forgot to mention, guys, once you've undone these top 2, there's another 2 screws down inside there. Also everything's 2.5mm on these diff casings. Tell you what though, I'm not liking the look of that orange sandy look that we've got on there. Let's see what it looks like inside this diff. Right, this should crack open now, like so. Try and pick it up with all your screws in. Hey, that does not look bad at all. The grease is still on there from the last time I greased it up. You can feel that as well. So what I'll do is give these a slight clean down. So literally to clean them down, all you're going to want to do is give it a spray down with your spray lube to loosen everything off. And then literally give your bearings a blast down as well. Then what you want to do is take your nice clean toothbrush and just run around the teeth, brush the teeth with the toothbrush. It's that simple, guys. And all these as well on the back drive gear. Everything looks nice and clean in there, to be honest. I'm happy with the way that looks. Then once you've cleaned it all down, you've scrubbed it all down, which I'll do off camera, give it a wipe down with a cloth, grease them up and drop them back in, and it's that simple. So to take this back end off, what you're going to want to do is lift it up as one, and you'll be able to pull it out of the drive shaft tube like so, and you'll be able to inspect the bearings properly. If there's any big play in them bearings, you're going to want to swap them out. I don't think there is on this so far. And the good thing about your toothbrush again is if you've got any crud or dirt that's managed to get through, what you want to do is see all these little lines and grooves within the car. Well, that plastic top that you drop back on sits within those to seal it up nice. So it's no good cleaning all the bearings down if you don't clean all these little grooves out with your spray oil again. Just spray it in there and it'll clean all the dirt out anyway. Or get your toothbrush in there if you need to, like around where that bearing is. Just like so. Agitate it, give it a spray down with your spray oil. Like so. And that's nice and clean then for your bearing to sit in. And also that seal around the edge is the same. One thing you are going to want to clean as well is the underneath of the diff casing. Is them little grooves the same? There's the groove, look, that I just mentioned. That groove there by my thumb is what sits inside that groove. The cleaner you've got them to put back together, the better the seal it is for next time you take it out through the mud and dirt. I'll get that all cleaned up and move on to the front one. So now all that's cleaned up and all this is cleaned up, what you want to do is take some grease, literally slap it on all those bearings all the way around. Don't matter if it's mucky, because it'll just help seal it up when you push them two plastic pieces back together. I like to put a bit on there as well, keep the rust at bay if any water gets in. Just rub it round it all so it's all greased up. You got your bearing, grease at one side, push it on. Actually, we'll grease at the other side first. There we go, nice and messy. Look at that. Drop that on there. Get your second bearing. Plenty of grease. Like so. There's all the nice white grease on there from last time as well. Drop that over the second one. You're going to want to get your pin. You may as well keep your fingers greasy getting the pin through. Like so. Drop the gear on top of that. And then pull this bearing over that gear like so. And drop a bit of grease on that. All the way around. I know this looks messy guys, but that is actually perfect right there. That is how I like it, because all this grease is going to fly off anyway. It's just putting a waterproof seal on all your metal work. Look at them bearings. If your bearings don't do that, don't put them back in. Either fix them up or buy some new ones. What I'm going to do is, again, while that's open on the top, little blob of grease down there on that gear. Actually a big blob, and it'll spin round and it'll cover the whole gear. As well as that, you've got it round this at the top. Drop that in on the drive shaft. Give it a bit of a push and a twist. And then drop that down into where it sets nicely. There you go. And then just drop a bit of grease around your back differential gear as well. Just push it round. Don't bother wiping up your hands just yet, because you're going to get greasy. Some people run their diffs dry, but I just like plenty of grease in there. I know it gives it a bit of slip, but that's going to also filter out into your bearings as well. And there, like so. So that is what you want it to look like when finished. Not over greased, but just nice and greasy ready. And then what we're going to do is drop that diff cover that we've cleaned underneath back on top of that. Give it a push down, and it should sit nice and flush with the chassis and the other side of that diff case on the back. Put these screws back together and move on to the front one, see what that looks like. I'm guessing it's just going to look exactly the same I'm happy with the way they look as well. I ain't going to change the oil in the diff just yet because it's perfectly fine. So that's everything tightened back up. So one thing you may as well do while you've got this back end stripped off, just pull these body pins out because they do go a bit rusty, being TRAXXAS. Coat them in a bit of grease like so, drop them back in. They'll be smoother running for the car. Same with the second one, like so. And then what you want to do is get a bit of grease on your finger, and at the back there's a hole. Just push it and it'll push grease into the hole, and that's where this hinge pin sits. Again, it's just going to help it move around. Then you want to do the same with this as well. This piece off the back. Look at that, it's rusty. It isn't rusty anymore, it's just surface rust. So what you want to do with this one as well is on these little end holes, bring a bit of grease in, and as you can see it goes through to the other side. Like so. And put that, drop these back in, and it'll run a lot smoother for that. Drop this back piece back on. You can wipe all the grease off it in a bit. There you go. Simples. One more thing to mention as well, when fitting everything back together on this back end, what you want it to do is you want it to actually clip back into place. If it doesn't feel right and it doesn't slip back into place without the screws in, don't just drive the screws through expecting it to sit right. So what you want is, you want it all sitting in place nicely without these screws in, and then look down the tops and these screw holes should line up nicely. Just a quick tip to save your plastics and make sure you get back together properly. Same procedure for the front diff then, guys. So what you're going to do is take these front two screws out. These are the longer screws, by the way. If you're left with different screw sizes at the end, the two longer screws are the ones that go through the bumper into the skid plate at the bottom. Flip that over, undo your four, and I'll show you what's under the front ones. And there you have it, guys. So this is pretty much what's underneath the front diff case. Literally going to take this apart the same as you did the back one. But first you're going to get the dirt out the front of that screw. As I was saying, you can remove the front screw and the dirt isn't going to be inside the hex either this time. Like so. If you're ever worried about what screws come from where, the best thing is to save them together like so. That's actually mud, not rust, which is nice. Then under these two at the top, there we go. And then what we're going to do is this time we're going to undo these. We're going to flip the car over actually, because you want the case to come off while it's upside down. There we go. What you're going to want to do is the two screws that are down inside the car there, under those two. Otherwise your diff casing isn't going to come away. We have actually got these two, 1, 2, plus another cheeky 2 just in front of that steering assembly there. So with everything now undone as well, guys, just a quick note that the two up front in front of the steering assembly have got a chamfer on the screws, so you've got to put them two back in front of the steering assembly. Totally different screw compared to the ones further back in the car. So with them four off, let's have a look inside here. Again, another clean diff, quite happy with that. Only a little bit of surface rust. What I'll do is get this brush down again, so you want to spray it with a liquid lubricant. Then you use your toothbrush, run around it with a toothbrush all over, and then drop loads of grease on it and stick it back together. There we have it, guys, the TRAXXAS MAXX truck. Diffs all nice and maintained. The weather is about to change, it's gone dark, we got thunder, but we have got Charlie, the RC dog, featured in the video. Oh, Charlie, say hello, what's this? Ooh. Anyway guys, please rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya!